It is time to close the sale. Hey, this is Roy Fur, and we are back with your next high velocity copywriting lesson. And in this lesson, we're going to talk about stimulating action. That is, once we have laid out our case, we got attention with our big idea, we made our promise, and we built their interest and their desire in what it is that we were going to offer them. And now we get them over that threshold and get them to take action and take us up on our offer. So in stimulating action, what we need to do is we make an irresistible offer and close the sale. So that's what we're going to talk about here. And the great thing, once you get to this point in whatever promotion you are writing, regardless of the big idea, I mean, you have to maintain the thread of that big idea all the way up until the close. However, the rest of this entire process is so consistent, and boilerplate isn't quite the right word, but it's so formulaic that I often find that even if it took me a significant effort to write the rest of the promotion, once I get to this point, it's just all downhill, and it's so fast, and this is where you write the highest velocity of high velocity copy. So as a quick reminder, there are 3 sales that we make at each of the 3 steps that we've laid out as part of the high velocity copywriting process. And for this part of the process, we lay out these 3 sales. We make these 3 sales. This is an incredible value. In other words, the amount of money that you're going to have to invest in whatever it is that we have to offer here is a pittance compared to the amount of value that you are going to get. So the perceived value is incredibly high, the investment is incredibly low, and you are getting an incredible value. Next, you can take action today risk-free. That is, even by saying yes today to our offer, you are not fully committing. You are only trying us out. You are agreeing to try us out on completely risk-free and obligation-free terms, such that if you decide that this is not a fit for you, you can always go back and get your money back. And so you'll be out nothing. And finally, you must take urgent action now. When you are trying to close the sale, this is the last thing that you have to do, because once you get someone to believe that, okay, I need to take urgent action now on whatever this offer is, then of course that's what they do and you've closed the sale. So how do we do this? How do we make these 3 sales? Number 1, we follow the proven structure of irresistible offer presentations. This has been done so many times over that simply following the structure that's worked before, regardless of your big idea, regardless of how you proved it up until this point, once you get to this point in the sales message, you simply just lay out the proven structure of irresistible offer presentations in your copy, and you use that as your outline. Maintain that direct logical link from previous steps. That's the next thing you need to do. So of course, you want to maintain the message that you have already been conveying up until this point. You need to convey the continuation of the logic structure. So if you presented an urgent problem, then obviously your direct logical link is that you are offering the solution. If you presented them with a 10x opportunity, the direct logical link is that you are showing them how to take advantage of the opportunity. If you made a prediction for better or worse, your offer, the direct logical link, is that you are able to help them respond to what they need to do when the prediction comes true. So maintain that direct logical link from previous steps. Focus on one inevitable outcome. That is, you have one response that they need to do to get one outcome as a result of responding to your marketing message. And so if you want them to solve their problem, if you have an urgent problem that they need to have solved, what is the inevitable outcome? They need to get the solution and put it in place in their life. If there's a 10x opportunity, what's the inevitable outcome? They need to figure out how to take advantage of that opportunity. They need to get your instructions to take advantage of the opportunity. If you have made an imminent prediction, the inevitable outcome is that they need to respond in some way, and they need to take advantage of your offer in order to know the best ways to respond. And then adopt a posture of extreme conviction. I've mentioned this before. I mentioned this in the opening. This also certainly plays when you are proving your point, proving your promise. However, it is especially true once you are getting to the very end. A common thing that happens with public speakers that you'll see who are trying to sell from the stage but are not totally confident in selling is that they'll deliver this great, amazing presentation, and you'll feel moved, and you will feel inspired, and you'll feel that you want to take action on whatever it is that they're talking about throughout the presentation. And then they get to a point at the end of the presentation where they feel that they need to sell. They need to encourage you to go to the back of the room to take advantage of the additional resources that they have for offer. And what happens if the speaker is not confident in selling, in making an offer, is you'll see their entire body language change, their tonality will change. Suddenly they'll feel meek, and they will not know what to do to actually present their offer and get you to respond. And that's not how you want to be. You want to be sure, confident, and have conviction in what it is that you're saying here, because you are selling something that will help them solve the problem. You are selling something that will help them take the best advantage of the new opportunity you've presented. You're selling something that will help them respond to your prediction as it comes true. And if you have conviction in your product, if you have established yourself as the preeminent authority on whatever it is that you are selling, then you need to convey that with extreme conviction, confidence. You need to be convinced yourself that they need what it is that you offer, and it would be doing them a disservice to not get them to take advantage of your offer. If your offer is going to help them with whatever it is that has them engaged with your message up until this point, then you are doing them a disservice to not get them to take action, to not do everything in your power, to encourage them to get up the momentum that it takes to actually respond to your offer. So let's dive into the elements here, specifically of the irresistible offer and the close. Number one, you want to start with your USP, your unique selling proposition. And first and foremost, the USP should specifically be relevant to the message that you have been conveying up until this point. And so, for example, when I was selling the EMP resistant backup generator, of course, the USP of that product, if I spent most of my message talking about EMPs, the USP of that product was specifically that it was an EMP resistant, the world's first and only EMP resistant backup solar generator. So however you have presented your message up until that point, it needs to be relevant. So again, this should have a direct link to the big idea of the promotion. It should reinforce the emotional benefit of everything that you have been saying up until this point. It should reinforce the practical benefit of everything you've been saying up until this point. And it should be truly unique. Whatever you need to figure out, and we're going to talk about differentiation and positioning uh, in just a moment here, but it should be truly differentiated from the other options available to them in the marketplace. You should be able to lay out a set of buying criteria that specifically favors your product or service over every other option available to your prospect. Uh, whether that option is buying from a competitor, doing it themselves, solving the problem on their own, or not doing anything about it at all. And in fact, those three things that I specifically have mentioned there came from Dan Kennedy, and he has a question that he asks, and I have memorized the question, so I will repeat it again here. How, or excuse me, why should I, your perfect prospect, choose to do business with you over every other option available to me, including buying from a competitor, solving the problem myself, or doing nothing today? Again, why should I, your perfect prospect, choose to do business with you over every other option available to me, including buying from a competitor, solving the problem myself, or choosing to do nothing today? And if you can answer that question, if you can establish the buying criteria that makes your product or service truly unique relative to those other options, and that makes it preeminent and superior in the eyes of your perfect customer, then you have your unique selling proposition. So how do you differentiate? How do you establish differentiation from all the other products out there available to you in the marketplace? So this list comes from Al Reese and Jack Trout, who have done a great job on the work of positioning. They typically have worked with big brands more so than direct marketers. However, they truly understand the power and the techniques and strategies of differentiating products. So being the first to market is a differentiating point, a point of differentiation. Owning a specific attribute or feature, like the EMP resistant case in which my client built his solar generator. So having a specific attribute or feature, it's even better if you are able to patent that, if your product in some way can be patented such that no competitor can actually own that same attribute or feature. Measurable leadership can be a point of differentiation. So are you the number one in the market? Are you the number one among experts who have certain authority on your product or service category? Are you number one in some way, shape, or form that is measurable and that can be demonstrated? So, you know, if 4 out of 5 dentists choose your toothpaste, that's measurable leadership. Heritage. This, as a point of differentiation, has fallen off a bit in terms of in terms of the market's response to it. So having been in business for 50 years is something that in today's world consumers don't appear to have the same level of excitement about. However, having served a certain number of customers and making it about them is a different way to present heritage that does have a lot of credibility. Being a marketing agency that's helped clients generate a certain value of leads or sales, that has certain value. So what you've done as heritage is as important or more important than how long you've been in business, for example. Market specialization. If you are a If you are a copywriter specifically for cosmetic and implant dentists, immediately you have differentiation there. If you are the cryptocurrency copywriter, you have differentiation there. If you have specialized in some way, shape, or form, it automatically gives you a point of differentiation. If your product is specifically designed for a category or service of jobs, of careers, you have a point of differentiation there. Again, market specialization is an effective point of differentiation because it tells your target market, your perfect prospect, that, oh, this is for me. This is made for me. Your process can be a point of differentiation. I am in the middle, I'm in production right now on a promotion for a client where the guru behind the investment service has a specific algorithm that he uses to find stocks that match a certain criteria. And I can't go into too many details here, but that having that system, that process, can be an effective point of differentiation. There's the famous example from Claude Hopkins where, because he was the first to tell the story of what modern breweries do to create pure beer, he was able to take Schlitz from like the fifth biggest brand in a regional market to the #1 beer brand in the United States, because he laid out the process that they used to ensure pure beer. That's very hard to say. He laid out the process, and so Schlitz was seen as owning the process, even though the brewers at Schlitz said, listen, everybody does this. And good old Uncle Claude said, yeah, everybody might do it, but I don't know that as a buyer of beer. And so if we tell that story, our consumers will be interested. And they were. He was right. Being the latest thing can be a point of differentiation. Of course, it's very fickle to be the latest thing, especially because of the speed of sophistication in markets that we talked about previously, the speed of communication, how quickly things are knocked off. I actually have seen recently where there are companies that specifically watch successful Kickstarter products, and because most people who launch a Kickstarter campaign are newer entrepreneurs, oftentimes they are kind of figuring out everything as they launch the campaign publicly, and they only really figure out manufacturing after they know how big of an order they need to place. And there are these other campaign or other businesses that are out there that are watching what's successful on Kickstarter and bringing a knockoff on the product to market before the original successful Kickstarter is launched to market after the Kickstarter campaign. So you have a successful Kickstarter campaign, you run for a month, you make $1 million, and then before you can even get your product up on Amazon and available for sale, somebody else has 5 versions of your product out there. So latest thing can be a very effective point of differentiation, but it doesn't last very long as soon as you start making waves. Market preference. This is very similar to a point before, but if you are able to show that consumers prefer your soft drink, or consumers prefer your fidget spinner, or consumers prefer your computer hardware, whatever it is, if you can show that the market prefers you over other options available to them, that can be an effective point of differentiation. And then influencer preference. This is very similar, except for you're looking for the experts, the celebrity endorsement, some influencer in the person's life that the person respects, that the person would look up to with regards to solving the problem, or with regards to pursuing an opportunity or the prediction. So somebody else believes that if somebody who is an influential force in your prospect's life believes that you are the best option, then that is an effective point of differentiation. And expert preference. This is, again, very similar, but specific to, say, for example, scientists that prefer XYZ, or in the investment world, if your guru is followed by hedge fund managers or whatever the relevant expert is in the field. And again, this can the big difference between this and the influencer is the expert can be someone that the prospect doesn't know yet. The influencer is typically someone that is familiar to the prospect. So all of these make effective points of differentiation. So once you've put out your USP, once you have really differentiated your product or service from the other options available to the prospect, you tell them what they get. And this is, your product is XYZ. Here, you do actually, at some point in an effective sales presentation, have to talk about what they are getting, as in what they should expect is the experience of buying your product or service. Make sure, though, as you present it, I keep coming back to this emotional and practical. Make sure that you cover the emotional benefits of the product or service, the dimensionalized benefits technique that we talked about early on does come into play here. You need to, as you're presenting both the emotional and practical benefits, make sure that you are not just saying, here's what you get, but here's what it means for you. And then we're going to lay out why they're getting an incredible value. And usually that starts with a retail price. And the retail price can be much higher than you're going to charge them eventually. Usually it is higher than you're going to charge them eventually. Usually you don't just put the retail price there and leave it at that. So let's talk about what you might do after you've presented a retail price. Going to do a price drop. And that is, you say, I would normally charge $199 for this, but today you get it for $49. But you have to make it believable. You have to rationalize the discount. What is the reason why you were giving a discount? Are you launching this as a new product and you're looking to get traction? Do you have an end of year sale that you're running, and as part of that you have offered this discount? The better rationalization that you have for the discount, the more believable your initial retail price is, your current discount price is. The fire sale is the traditional way that this is done. When I had somebody break into our house and steal our iPad, I ran a sale on my copy review services because I wanted to replace the iPad for my kids. And that was the perfect rationalization for the discount and making the offer. And then you present the discounted price if you haven't already, and you reinforce the savings. And I picked this one up a while ago. I think it was actually from Paul Hollingshead when I was working with him on a project. And what he would do is he would say, you're saving $150 and 75%. And you're saying the same thing there, but by putting in the and in the middle, it sounds like a bigger discount. Whereas if you think about it rationally, it's just two ways to present the same discount. And so that has become one of my go-to ways to reinforce the savings, to use that and language. You're saving X dollars and X percent. Then you can also make an apples to oranges comparison. So assuming that you are offering them something that is a discount to another real alternative, you make a comparison to that more expensive real alternative. So one of the things that we would do when we were selling IT training videos is we would compare our, let's say, $897 MCSE certification package price to the $6,000 plus travel and hotel expenses price of attending an MCSE bootcamp live. And we would show how they were getting access to the world's best trainers on video versus whoever it was that would be teaching the currently scheduled boot camp. So they were getting better training for a lower price, and the way that we were able to offer that better value was by making it recorded instead of live and in person. Then you can compare to a cheap common purchase. So the cliche version of this is, this is when you break it down to your daily cost to invest in this. This is cheaper than your daily coffee. Whatever that cheap common purchase is that you can compare it to is a great apples to oranges comparison here. And then profit savings ROI. So if you are introducing them to an opportunity, for example, look at AWAI's copywriting course. If they're promising you a six-figure income and you have to invest, I don't know, $500 today or whatever the program is, then the what you're getting by being able to take advantage of that opportunity is so much bigger than what you are paying today. And then you can do both. So if you were doing one or the other, if you did a price drop or you did an apples to oranges, you can make the choice to do both as a presentation. The other thing that I should say, as I say both here, is that either of these can be a great way to present the incredible value that they're getting. And so if you're not doing a price drop, simply doing the apples to oranges comparison can be a great way to show that they're getting an incredible value, or you can choose to do both. And then once you've presented the product and the deal that they're going to get, here's where you make it an even better deal. You pile on more value. You do that with relevant bonuses and premiums. So, what else is going to help them pursue whatever opportunity it is that you're presenting, or respond to whatever prediction, or solve their problem, or what new challenges are going to be created by the solution that you're offering, that you can then help them address these new challenges. So if you're a very common example of this that I use is if you are able to help somebody get more traffic to their website, they're going to suddenly realize that a lot of those people are leaving and not converting. And so if you have a traffic-based offer, you might have a premium or bonus that is a conversion-based offer, or flip it around. If you have a conversion-based offer, you might have a bonus or premium that is a traffic-based offer. Dimensions of value. This is where you can go back to the original product and introduce a new dimension of how they will benefit, how they will get value out of it. So if there's a benefit that you haven't presented yet that represents some kind of tangible or intangible value to taking you up on your offer, you can add that after you've made your initial offer to make it feel and seem and be even more valuable. And similarly, you can add additional features. You can, if there were specific features that you didn't mention yet up until this point, and you want to convey the additional value that they're getting, you can mention that here. So a lot of times with investment newsletters, we'll sell the premium first. We'll sell like the introductory information package that they're going to get by signing up, and then we'll talk about the newsletter that they are signing up for immediately prior to presenting the price and the offer. And then once we've presented the price and the offer that they're for the specific for the specific newsletter and the premium that they're getting, that's the core informational package to show them how to solve the problem or respond to the prediction or take advantage of the new investment opportunity. Then we'll say, and you're going to get immediate access to log in and be able to view the portfolio on the website. You're going to get a number of webinars. Now, those were part of the offer in the beginning, but this is just presenting the additional features of that service here. And then there is the stack. The stack is a technique that I picked up from Russell Brunson, where he specifically lays out the different elements of the product or service, and this works really well in a webinar, and just keeps presenting them over and over again, adding one, talking about the benefit and the value and the price, and then adding another one to the list, talking about the benefit, the value, and the price, adding another one to the list, talking about the benefit and the value and the price. And by stacking them visually on the screen, and you could do the same thing with a video sales letter, by stacking them visually on the screen, adding one to the list, adding one to the list, adding one to the list, it forms a very effective presentation to increase the real and perceived value. And then once you've piled on the value, you want to reverse the risk. And there are two parts to any good risk reversal or guarantee. Number one is the terms on which you are making the guarantee. Is it satisfaction? So will they be satisfied with their purchase? And is it performance? And actually, I said there are two terms. There's actually three that we're going to discuss here. So satisfaction, performance, and then you can make a ridiculous guarantee. So you can specifically say, you have the next 30 days to decide that you are fully satisfied with what it is that I'm offering to you. And if for any reason during these next 30 days or 60 days or 90 days, you're not fully satisfied, then you can return the product, no questions asked, and get a full refund. And then, so that's satisfaction. And then you can also add, and I encourage you to put this to work for the next 12 months. And if you can show me that you have legitimately followed my instructions and tried this, and you weren't getting the results that you were promised here, if you don't get the performance that I've promised, let me know within 12 months and show me the evidence that you did what I asked you to do as part of the program, and you will get a prompt and courteous full refund. And then the ridiculous guarantee is just a way to lighten up the situation a little bit, to release some tension that is natural in the selling process. You can say, and even if you decide that you hate the sound of my voice, that you can't stand my font choices, that, XYZ, whatever it is, whatever ridiculous reason you might come up with for not liking me for any reason, just let me know and you'll get your money back. And by doing that and by stacking these, again, you can just reverse the risk in so many different dimensions that it truly that you are not just paying lip service to the idea that you have a 30-day guarantee, that you are truly giving them the impression of all the ways that you are going to ensure that they are happy and that they are moving forward today under no obligation. And then, of course, you want to address the length of the guarantee. So 30, 60, 90 days, 12 months, lifetime. Typically, what you'll find is that longer guarantees equal higher response and lower refund rate. And so if you give someone 12 months to decide that a product or service is right for them, they are actually less likely to request a refund than if you give them 1 month. So make sure that you present both the terms and the length. And then recap the offer. You remind them what they get. You remind them of the incredible value that they're getting. And This is a new point. Just one benefit is worth the price of admission. So when you're recapping, a great example of this would be in the stocks space. If you can remind them how just one of the stock success stories that you've presented in your presentation could pay for their newsletter membership for 10 years straight. That is a great example of how just one benefit is worth the price of admission. However you're able to dimensionalize the value that they're getting, if you can show them that just one benefit, just one potential outcome that they can get from responding today is worth the entire investment, it just solidifies the value that they are going to get. And then you make a soft CTA, a soft close, and you tell them basically how to order. So, just all you have to do to get started is to click the Join Now button on this page and fill out the simple order form on the page that loads next, and then tell them do it now. So you can do that now. You can get started immediately. But we're not selling them hard on the close. We are just establishing, again, a soft close, a soft CTA, after which you present the reasons that they need to take urgent action now. So if you are selling a physical product or your time or something that truly has limited quantity, you state the limited quantity. If there is limited time, such as there's a deadline for the sale that you're running, if there's a deadline for getting in on a specific event, something like that, what's the limited time? There can also be personal urgency. If there's something going on in their life that you're helping them respond to with regards to, especially if it's an urgent problem, then you want to underscore that as being a reason that they need to take action immediately. Or there's market urgency, and this is especially relevant with the prediction. If you're predicting a sector of the stock market is going to explode higher, or if you're predicting an imminent economic crisis, or if you're predicting whatever it is, there is a sense of market urgency that comes out of the big idea there. So what is the market urgency that you can use to build urgency? And then we sum up. So we're going to sum up the value, and as we get further down, even these multiple points, we want to make sure that we hit them quickly. So we've already presented the value. All that we need to do is make a simple restatement of the value, a simple restatement of the risk reversal that they're responding today without any risk or obligation, a simple restatement of the urgency. And then we get to the hard CTA. This is where you're going to finally ask them to take action on what it is that you are offering. This is the point where you reach your point of maximum conviction that, listen, you need to take urgent action now. You need to take advantage of what it is that I have to offer. Your time is running out. And the way that you do this, my favorite way to do this is to basically present the fork in the road, to say, if you go into the future with what it is that I'm offering, then you are going to get XYZ benefits. You are going to address your problem in the best way. You are going to take advantage of this opportunity in the best way. You're going to be able to respond to the prediction in the best way. Or if you move forward into the future without what it is that I offer, here's going to be the downside to that. And you can go all the way back to the impact filter that you did as you were developing your message as a great place to really make sure that you recap this in the best possible way. Remember that it does need to be tied to the big idea, but basically here is where you are asking them to take action. Okay, and just a quick reminder, if you have questions, Be sure to use the questions functionality in the player. If you want to rate the course, leave a review, talk about how awesome the offer structure is that you've just had reinforced for you here. Be sure to do that so that other people know the value that you're getting out of the program, and make sure that you download the mind map of this, because this is above all. This is a very, very useful way to structure your offers that's proven itself over and over again in effective direct response copy. All right, so with that, I look forward to diving into your next video with you here soon.